For the past 9 years, I have been on an exciting journey. A journey that 4 months ago led me to Zacapa, Guatemala, where I met William Esquivel. The day I met William, I shared with him something I had created, something that I hope one day will help him and millions of others like him to walk, work, and live more comfortably and independently. And what William told me after I shared this with him gave me a feeling of pure joy. What he told me was, well, wait, hold on. Before I get ahead of myself, first I need to tell you how I got there. After completing high school in 2008, I set my sails for the Engineering Center at the University of Colorado, Boulder. I quickly became engulfed in the thought-provoking and challenging course curriculum offered by the Department of Mechanical Engineering. And as I continued to step through my classes, I wanted to look for ways to gain more practical experience. I wanted to apply what I was learning in the classroom to a more real-world setting. I gained this more practical experience after my sophomore year when I began working as an undergraduate research assistant for Dr. Mark Rentschler in his Advanced Medical Technologies laboratory. He and his students were working on this small surgical robot that could travel through the intestine. I gained experience in design, building prototypes, and testing those prototypes in both animal model and benchtop testing. It was incredible, just what I was looking for. And in fact, this experience helped solidify my interest in the medical device field and led me to pursue my PhD in mechanical engineering with Dr. Rentschler as my advisor. As I continued going through my PhD, my skill sets widened and my focus narrowed into this field of study. But I also began to feel that there was something missing. I wanted to feel more directly connected to the people that I was trying to help with my work. And so a couple years into my PhD, and with the full support of my advisor, I applied for and received a grant to go to South Africa to work on a side project for 3 months. And this project was to design and develop a lower limb prosthetic socket, specifically for people living in rural and remote areas. My time in South Africa was a time of learning about this whole new field of medical devices. I shadowed prosthetic leg experts to learn how they fabricate and fit and maintain different prostheses, a prosthesis such as this one. And what I learned was that the socket is the most important part of the prosthetic leg, because this is where an amputee's residual limb will interface. And it needs to be a perfect fit for the amputee's limbs such that they don't have pressure sores or blisters arise, making it really painful to walk and may cause abandonment of the device. And to complicate things even more, I learned that an amputee's residual limb doesn't stay the same size over time. So even with a perfectly good fitting prosthetic leg, over the course of the day or over longer periods of time, an amputee's residual limb is going to change in size, making it even more critical that their socket has a perfect fit so that they can continue to walk comfortably. Once I began to understand some of these complexities of prosthetic socket design, I began to ask the prosthetic leg experts how people living in the more rural areas might receive care. What they told me was that in South Africa, there were government hospitals that anyone could go to receive essentially free care. But there was often a wait list of a year or more before people could be seen. Alternatively, sometimes prosthetic leg experts from abroad or from the more urban centers would travel to these remote areas to try to fit as many people as they could with donated resources. But this would often happen over the course of a long weekend, and there would be little to no follow-up, meaning that many of these devices within just a matter of months would go abandoned because the socket no longer fit. So upon returning from South Africa, I did have to focus on finishing my PhD. But this work there sparked this fire within me, a fire to want to be able to continue to use my technical skills to directly impact other people. And I continued to look for different opportunities to continue this work. And this next opportunity came last spring. It was about a year and a half after I'd finished my PhD, or after I returned from South Africa, and just after I finished my PhD. It was time for CU's 9th annual New Venture Challenge, a a business pitch competition for faculty, staff, and students to support them in their entrepreneurial efforts. I decided I wanted to think about what my work from South Africa would look like from a business perspective. So I assembled a team to help me think about the different business models we could use, research the different players in the space, and to prepare a pitch to give to multiple different venues. And to my utmost surprise, my team and I had an amazing showing. We not only won our focus track, the R&D track, we also won the Women's Entrepreneurship Prize, the Social Impact Prize, and were runners-up at the MBC Championship event. Thank you. It was an amazing experience, and it gave me the contacts and the resources to continue moving forward, to officially incorporate a company, and to continue building a more adjustable socket prototype. And this is where it's at today. Essentially, it's a very general-shaped socket such that it could be mass manufactured to keep costs low, but which incorporates adjustability mechanisms in it so that an amputee can adjust the fit of their socket themselves. Now, this is something that's still very early in its development, and there's a lot of work yet to be done before it could be commercially available. But it can at least be used to help prove a concept and a tangible item to be shared with others. And I got to share this with others last October. One day, after following up with an organization called Range of Motion Project, or ROMP, they invited me to come to their clinic in Guatemala. ROMP serves amputees who cannot afford or otherwise access prosthetic care. And so I decided to go so that I could gain some experience working in a clinic and to maybe get some feedback on my prototype. And so this is where William's and I's paths crossed. William is from Zacapa, and he knows the clinic staff well at ROMP. And so they asked him if he'd be willing to give me some feedback on my prototype. He was immediately really excited and pretty interested. And so after spending just a few minutes with William, adjusting the socket to his needs, and after he took a couple of steps, this is what he told me. What I like the most is that it gives me the control to adjust the fit of my socket so that I can do different activities like walk and run and work in the field more easily. I was taken aback. After spending just a few minutes with William and with something that was still truly in its infancy, he got it, and he could see the potential value it could provide to him and many others just like him. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful for the support, the programs, the people, all a part of CU and the surrounding community that have allowed me to get to where I am today. And I know that by no means does my journey end here, but this is the story to date, and I'm curious to find out what will come next. Thank you.